Since there's no response, I strongly believe no one have any questions, anything, and you guys are so far good.
No specific question answer.
Sorry.
No specific question, sir.
Wait. Let me open the Power BI file and let me walk you through the rest of the charts that I wanted to actually discuss. Mm-mm-mm. Pulling my screen back. So these are the visuals that we have discussed the last. I think the last one is the KPI visual that we have discussed with. And today, let's start with another visual, what we call this visual as KPI is the last visual we have done, right? Okay, so let me try with key influencer. Okay, so the visual now we are going to start with, this is called the key influencer. In Power BI, I would say the one of the critical and I would say more in critical in nature. Okay, more critical in nature. The more difficult as well, and this is little bit uh, tricky to understand. But then one of the more impactful charts that I would say in the Power BI. Okay. I would say not to recommend. I mean, I don't recommend this every time, but still, I would recommend to first do some research. Okay, because whatever the points that I'm going to teach you will be a kind of a basic level, but then you will have more. You will have to look at more and more examples as such, which are created with the Power BI, and you might get much more information about it. It's a little bit difficult to understand, but still, yes, it's a nice visual. So it happens with a lot of permutations and combinations. Let me give it a try and then see how best I can able to explain this back. So this is called the key influencer chart. So where do you find this visual? Just right below the KPI visual. Right below the KPI visual, you will see key influencer. Okay. I'm selecting this visual over here, and then I change this into a key influencer. Okay. Let's see if there is any kind of analysis which is being provided by this, and then I can explain it. Okay. So what is that we have in the key influencer part? One, you are going to see this part which is called the analyzing. Okay. So we are analyzing a rating, and this should be explained by a median of the aggregate, or let's say aggregate rating, whatever the let's say the average of the aggregate rating or whatever. Okay. So I'm taking an average of the aggregate rating, and I'm taking the country, or either we can do it by adding more information. Since I have got average of the aggregate rating, I'll remove this and let me try if I can able to bring in USD value, and let me change this to an average. Okay. So what is that I'm saying is analyze the rating based upon country and the average of the USD value. Okay. Analyze the rating based upon the country and the average USD value. So in this part, if you look at this on the visual side, so there are two portions. One is key influencer, one is top segment. So talking about the key influencer, what does it say? What influences the M rating to increase? So when I say M rating, you know that this is a measure that we have created. And the measure of this is being calculated by aggregate rating, okay, average of the aggregate rating. So what is that we are saying is what influences the average rating to be high, okay, average rating to be high. So what is that it is analyzing based upon the points that we have submitted. It is saying that the average rating can be increased or will increase when the value average USD values is going up to 43.29. So what does this mean in is the more the USD value, the more the rating is also showing high. Okay. So how does it is showing? It is 0.08 times. And these are the different key points which are being analyzed. So if you look at the statement here, what does it say? On average, when average USD value increases, the rating is also increasing. Okay. So which means the more the cost is involved, the more the rating is also getting increased. So these are being analyzed in a different points of value. So if I click on this tiny arrow, okay, it is not showing anything. But when I click on this, it tells me on what are the different points which are being analyzed and then coming across with this particular statement. So the second portion of that, what you will see is the top segment. Okay, so here there is no top segment which has been analyzed by the Power BI, but on the key influencer part alone, it is just showing. So this is okay. If I click on the decrease, if I click on the decrease, it will tell you how much time it is actually decreasing on what are the different points that it is analyzing, and let you know on the decrement part. And it will tell you why when there is an increase, when there is a decrease part. This is just one of the case that I'm picking up. Okay, and maybe if I go ahead and then update any other value, let's say if I'm adding more on the city side, so it might give you more and more information about the city value as well. This is a very straight case, I would say. There is no, in this example, there is nothing more complicated than that. But if I have to explain this, what exactly this key influencer will helpful. Um, this is uh, how do I say this? Mm, okay. Now, for example, if you are selling a product, okay, if you are selling a product, or let's say you would be I think most of you are from different major cities, okay, whatever be the city it is, but I still strongly believe you will be in some major city, and whatever be the city it is, you in your area you might find some big uh, supermarkets or malls, right? It could be something like Reliance or Big Bazaar or etc. Anything. Okay, I mean whatever it is coming to my mind, I'm just saying. Okay, so let's say, for example, Reliance is one of the supermarket you have in place, and you can see when you go to the Reliance supermarket, not every day you can see the same price. There might be a price which could be varying between season to season, festival to festival, right? So let's say there is an upcoming festival which is Ganesh Chaturthi. So if you go to the Reliance, when you step into the Reliance store, what they start doing is they will start selling the different products. Either it could be electronics, clothing, or household items, or anything, whatever it is they are selling up. So we'll see different kinds of offers which are there for Ganesh Chaturthi. Okay. And after Ganesh Chaturthi, if you have a major festival that you will be looking at, let's say Diwali. So when the Diwali is approaching, again you will see different kinds of offers which have been created by them. Now, what you might think is I'm talking about the discounts that they are talking about. No, discounts could be a common factor between each one of the grand festivals that is approaching, and then they are trying to sell. But I'm not talking about the discounts part here. So listen to what I'm saying. What will happen before the festival approaches? These people try to come up with a different kind of strategy to sell the products related to different kinds of categories. The category would be either it is a household article, electronic items, or clothes, or appliances, home appliances, etc., etc. But when we are talking about this specifically, how they are analyzing that, or let's say how they are coming up to a solution that if we, let's say for example, there is a product fridge, okay? There is a fridge, it's a product. So if you look at the fridge, whatever it is there in the market, what they are selling, let's say if the value of the fridge is 10,000. So during the Ganesh Chaturthi time, what they will say is we are giving you a grand discount of 1500 off, flat 1500 off, and then you can take this product to 8,500. Okay. If you go to Diwali, you might see that the same product might be either decreased around 8,000. Okay. They might give you another 500 rupees off, and then they'll say 8,000. Again, if you look at the same thing during the Christmas season, during the Christmas season, not the same product could be, if it is available, might not be for 8,000, but they might sell it for 9,000. So they might be giving only 1,000 rupees off. I mean, there is no differentiation that this festival is great, this festival is not great. वैसे कुछ नहीं है, but you will see there is a difference. Now, what makes them to bring that particular value so that the customer is getting attracted? Okay, what makes them to bring that value so that the customer is attracted during that season and they are able to buy the product and then customer. It's a win-win situation, both for the retailer and the customer. Now, what made them to get to that value is the question. Okay, what made them to get that value to the is that question. Because you might ask the same product, why there is the difference between 8,000, 8,500, and 9,000 in different for different festival areas. I mean, festival seasons, you will see for different rating. Why? That question, why? What is that? If I have to put that in a different manner, if I have to try to keep it in a different manner, the question would be this way: what is the key influencer for them to arrive to a decision that the product should be sold at 8,000 or 8,500 or 9,000? Understand the question. What is the key influencer for them to do it? So how do they arrive to that is they might they take up the data for the past 2 or 3 years of data, and let's look at the same product in the last 2 to 3 years. They might analyze what kind of value they have imposed on it and how many products would have been sold during that time versus non-season or versus different festive seasons. So let's say they might analyze the same product in three different categories. One is non-season versus non-season, which is could be a month, and festive season versus different festive season versus non-festive season. So they might look at three different categories. They arrive to all these categories, and then they might think that okay, as per the data they have analyzed, they might arrive to a solution that if the festival season would be Diwali, the product would be going much more faster, and even if we decrease the price, that is when the product is selling out more. If it is Ganesh Chaturthi, if the product is, in order to make sure the product needs to be sold out, they might arrive to a bit of discount, but not more. But at the same time, if they go to the Christmas season, they might think that it is going faster, but not when compared to the other two festive seasons, and then it might be decreasing. So based on that, they impose a value. That is what we call it as the key influencer. A key influencer is something that will make you decide how you have to run the business based upon certain points or the categories that you are going to analyze. In fact, that is what exactly this key influencer will prove. Okay. The one what I have shown you is like very high level. But if you go deeper inside of it, it has got a lot of work to analyze and then come back to a decision. But this example might not be a very feasible one. You will have a lot of examples which are being provided by Power BI within their technical forum. Okay. But I thought to give you an introduction about it so that you will keep this in mind. What exactly is the key influencer part? Okay. All right. Hmm. The next portion is a decomposition tree. As I told you earlier, okay, the decomposition tree is also one best, um, deadliest and easiest uh, chart within the Power BI. So I'm just making a duplicate of the funnel chart just to maintain the consistency of the colors and everything. So I'm making a duplicate of the funnel chart, and then I'll rename this back into the decomposition tree or decomposition chart. On the decomposition chart, okay. I said like this is pretty easier and easier. So see, I'm selecting the visual. In the bill visual, I have the category and the value. Similarly, what I'm going to do is to select this, and right next to the key influencer, you will have the decomposition tree. So when I quickly click on the decomposition tree, what you would be seeing is you will see the first thing is analyze the M rating, which is we are analyzing the overall rating of this entire database. And within this entire database, what is that it is showing you is explained by region. Okay, as of now, I'm just selecting this by region. So which means the moment once I add the rating here, you can see there is a plus symbol next to this part. Okay, so when I click on the plus symbol, it will ask you, do you want me to show a high value, low value, or a region? So if I am selecting a high value, so what it will do, it is going to quickly expand this by region, and there is a dotted line which is getting connected with a connector. So this particular rating, which is 2.67, how is it being distributed across all the regions? It is showing you the entire information and highlighting which is having the highest value. So Africa is the region which is contributing to make sure the rating is around 4.22. It is contributing towards the overall rating. However, the overall rating is 2.67. It is because Asia is the one which is actually contributing 2.56, and because of that, it is decreasing. Okay. So this is how the decomposition tree is shown up. If I want to add one more information apart from this, let's say if I want to add a country, against each region, okay, sorry, against each region, you will see the country is being expanded. Let's say, for example, if I'm going to click on the Africa side, okay, so if I click on the Africa side, you will see what is contributing within the Africa that the average rating is 4.22. So this is how it will show for each one of the country. So if it is Europe, okay, and then you can click on each one of the bar here so to show up what is the region which is being affected. If it is Sam, again, you can, I mean, here it is stopping it till here on the countryside. So if I'm expanding to city, so this will again open up the city part. And likewise, you can add more number of components to show up the connecting factor between each one of the point. So making M rating, which is the highest point, and you are going to deep dive inside the region part and then the country and then the city to show what is the average rating for each one of the region and what is contributing it to ensure that this is how the rating is being updated. And this is all is on the decomposition tree. There is nothing much more important about this. So I would say this is, as I told you, like this is the easiest one. So give it a try and then see how is it working. Hmm. able to do. We're able to do this. And let's move on to the next one. I'm making a duplicate of this, and this time I'm going to make this as you and unit. No, um, I'm expecting that at least someone of you can open your mouth and then be interactive. But I'm still saying the same thing, like no one is trying to talk. And so I will just go ahead with whatever I can able to explain it. So you guys can able to look at that and practice it. Okay. There might be a situation where you might have to prepare a report. Okay. So, for instance, this is how it is. You're when one fine day when you go to office, your your manager would call you up and then say, "Hey, I need a report ASAP." Okay. So this is what we keep hearing from every one of our managers, and then even if you're a manager, you would also give the same direction to your reporters that you need a report ASAP. And once you get the report or once you submit the report, then your manager would come back and ask, like, there could be two scenarios. One, either they might like the report or they might not be satisfied with the report, and then they will ask you to get more information. So when you hear that stating that this information, whatever you have given, is not so sufficient, and you will have to add more information to that, then again you will start sitting back and you will have to start working on the report. Again, when you work on the report and then take it back, again they might ask you to go back and then do extra additional information. So ultimately, the end of the day, what will happen is the same report you would be working on the report for at least 4 to 5 iterations, and finally, after the fifth iteration, probably they would say, "Okay, this looks better," and then they might take up this report. Now, once they take up the report to their manager or to their customer or whatever, they might start asking the report in another way. So, what is going to happen in common to talk or to acknowledge about the situation? In common, you will see every one of you are trying to work on this report on different directions and different ways. End of the day, there might be a particular place or particular time where you guys will stop looking at the report, and then you will accept the report as it is and then start um taking a decision about whatever you guys have already analyzed. Basically, this is what usually happens in every place, okay? Which is out of your hand, and I would 100% agree to that. This is totally out of your hand. But during the same time, during the same time, you would have thought really that if there is a particular kind of a what do you say? If there is a um, way that something, a magic should happen on the report, that once you create the report and send it to your manager, so you might expect that there should be some magic that whatever the manager asks, the report should automatically give the way it should be. Something like a robot taking your instructions and then doing and giving it back to you in seconds. So this is what ultimately what we always keep thinking, in our inner head. Although we don't try to talk to people, but still yes, this is what it will happen in your inner head. So I think you would have every one of you would have thought about this situation once upon a time or recently or at least last year, whatever, whenever you started. And if you notice the world around you, that is where the chatbot came into the picture. Okay. Chatbot is not something like it can do anything whatever you like. But chatbot came into the picture because when you log into a website, there will be a virtual assistant for you, wherein although it is not going to resolve all your information or the questions that you have, it will try to guide as much as you can to take you to the right direction and right path so that you end up getting your query resolved by reaching to a right department or a right person, and further, therefore, you are satisfied. That is what the chatbots are coming into the picture. Now, keeping this in mind, in a similar fashion, there is one option in Power BI wherein after you have created your entire report, okay, there is a kind of a mini chatbot that can be utilized within your report that can solve or answer all the queries of your question, which is certainly report, which is certainly related only to this particular report what you have created, only related to this report. So what does that mean? So what am I doing is I'm just going to pick this up, this visual, and then I'll quickly convert into a question and answer, which is next to the decomposition tree. There is something called the question and answer box. The icon just looks like a message part. So I'm just going to convert it into question and answer. Okay. moment once you click on the question and answer, what you would be noticing is there is a tiny, there is a message box like this, chat which is open, and within that you have some set of questions which are already been shown up on top, and there is a place where you can write your question. Okay. So first thing what I'll do is I will teach you how you can use this question and answer visual. And later I will show you what are the different settings that we have so that you will understand how you can improvise this chatbot or the question and answer more and more. Okay, I'll show you both the cases so you can see which one will be easier for you. Okay. So let's look at the first visual on this part. I'll talk about the synonyms later. So this is the place where you are going to write your question. Okay, where it says ask a question about your data. So when I select this, then say let's give a question. So how you have first thing you need to understand how you will have to write your question on the question Q&A visual. That's a very primary step, right? So it's a very simple way of doing the thing. There is no complicated. This is not the kind of. There's no kind of a rocket science here. This is pretty simple and easier, but you need to keep an understanding about your data. So what I would say in this place, since you're doing everything from the append one table, whatever the field name or the um, column header, okay, whatever the column header or the field name that you are seeing, your question should always have this, okay. If you are a pro in English language, if you are a pro in English language, you can type the question accordingly with uh, proper adjectives and questions related everything, but you will have to mention these column names or the headers properly, whatever it has been shown up here. For example, we have created a lot of visuals over here. We have created a lot of visuals. If I want to pick up, let's say a donut chart, I want to create a donut chart. Okay. And what is that I want to show in the donut chart? For instance, I want to show each one of the country. Okay. I want to show by country um, MUSD value, average of MUSD value by country in a donut chart. Okay. MUSD value by country in a donut chart. So what do I do? I'm going to just mention here the same thing by first mentioning the MUSD. When I type the MUSD, okay, what it will show, it is identifying the MUSD value. The line where it is underlined over here, when it is underlining the thing, which means that it is identifying there is a value or the column field by name within this table. Okay, MUSD value by country. Now, is it necessary to have, when you type country, if you look at the dotted line, the dotted line indicates that there is a kind of an error. It's not an error, but it is identifying because there are this country column is available in different tables as well. So it is asking you which country or which table name I need to select properly. Can you guide me? So I would say append one country. I'm typing append one country. So again, when I type append one country, now it is shown with a dark line, which is the filled line, solid line. So this means this is automatically detecting. Fine. MUSD by append one country in donut chart. In donut chart. Now, after you type the question like this, pretty simple. MUSD by FN1 country in donut chat, and then you click on the submit button. This will automatically give you the value. You see, this is one of the chat which we have not created in this visual, but then if someone wants to take a look at the data, right? And someone wants to see this information like this, that is where you can write your information automatically. If you look at this, instantly it give you the result. Very instantly it gives you the result. Give a try with the different kinds of questions and then see were you able to see the results or not. Let me know once you are able to practice it or do give a different kinds of questions and then see were you able to satisfy getting the results accordingly the question what you are giving. If you're not able to get that, which means you might be doing a tiny mistake in that, I can help you out. But give it try and then see whether you're able to get this result. Have, practice or tried. response, but I still take your response as yes, you guys were able to do that, and then it is working fine. So this is one thing where you can see that, as I told you, that you can write your question. And if not, to just return back to that, you can simply either clear this, so the questions will be gone away, and either you click on this particular symbol, this will come back and reset back to your original state. Okay. So basically, this becomes like a kind of a visual which is applied within your report. And this visual can help the audience or the people who are receiving this report to build up their own question to instantly see the results. If any of the report or any of the chart is not being clear, they can do it by themselves and then explore. But of course, yes, you will have to give them a bit of understanding, like how you can put the question and then you can see the result. That's one thing. Now, the second portion of it, now this is on the front end part of the visual, how you are using. Now, on the back end of this visual, how things are going to work out is what I'm going to discuss. So you can see there is a settings button over here. There is a settings button over here. Next to the question mark, there is a settings button, a small settings question. When you click on the settings button, okay, this will walk you or take you through another set of field, which is where you will have four different sections along with one tutorial, like how the Q&A understand the people better. So that is a self explanatory where you can go through. But I'll walk you through these four parts so that you will understand what this fourth part of this question and answer setup will help you out with. Let's talk about the synonyms first. Okay, synonyms is a kind of a portion which is a simple and very simple, but I'll tell you how it will work out. So basically, when you look at the synonyms part, you will see all the different kinds of tables that you have built in. Okay, all the different kinds of tables that you have loaded onto your Power BI screen. It will show all the table names. Each one of the table name has a section to open with, and you can include them in your question and answer. For instance, when you're deploying this to a particular group of audience to play around with, before you deploy it, you can decide what are the different kinds of tables or the tables that needs to be shown up on the question and answer. If you think like what we have done right now, since country is one of the field which is available or applicable in all the particular tables, when the type country, it will first show in a dotted line because it is appearing in all the tables. So it might be confused which kind of table you are referring to. To avoid the confusion for everyone, you can either switch off each one of these tables so that those tables are not actually appeared on your question and answer visual, only on the question and answer visual, not on everything. Okay. And if I only open the append1 table, then it is going to consider the results only from append1 table, no other table. That's the first point. Second one, within the append1 table, there are multiple columns which are available, or let's say there are group of columns which are available, including your measures, right? Including your measures, everything you can see they are being updated. Now, what are the synonyms will help you? For instance, if you look at the append1 table, when it says append1, it is going to consider append1. Either you write it in a proper case or a smaller case or an upper case, it is going to use this. Now, apart from this, you, me, the remaining everyone have a different kind of style of writing or understanding the thing. What is a different kind? For instance, I can add one more synonym that can say app one. Sorry, app one. If I type enter app one का meaning है, even when you type append one fully or in a small case, or either if you type AAP1, it will still consider that as append one. Let's say let's say Prashant for quite some time. He knows how I know how his way of writing the things is. So I will say APND1. I'll mention APND1. And I'll say this is one more synonym that I can think over. Okay? APND1 or AAP1. So these are the different ways that I'm thinking to understand that people might type like this, or there could be a spelling mistake that can be done. So, or let's say TPND1. Okay. Now, typing this methodology in this way and then considering this, it will still consider append1 table. Now, I have just typed in these synonyms and now I'll close this and go back. And if I come back here, now the first thing is it is refreshing itself. And then if I type, like I have just mentioned, APND or let's say AAP1, you see the solid line which is there, it is considering that as append one. Within that, if I say cuisine, okay, cuisine. I think I might have written the spelling wrong. Right. AAP cuisine one. Now it is picking up properly. Append one cuisine count. Um, let's say in chat. See, append one cuisine count in pie chart. So this is how it is just giving me the result. Although I have typed AAP1, it is still updating it. Okay. So this is what the beauty of the Power BI Q&A visual, that you can type more synonyms like this. So like append one, you can type for aggregate rating, you can give an as on, you can give for city, etc., etc. You can consider add more and more kinds of synonyms which are already applicable. If not, if you think that these are already different kinds of um, um, different kinds of synonyms which are already being given. Let's say locality is known to be vicinity. Okay. Let's say, for example, if I click on this vicinity, it will get added as the vicinity. So these are the suggested synonyms which are there coming up here. Okay. So you can use all these different kinds of synonyms, and then that is where it will help you out in improvising your question and answer visual. So that's the synonym part. And then there is on the relationship part, you don't need to really think about this, nothing. Question and answer. Here, what you can do is you can just type in certain questions. Okay, certain type in certain questions like how you will talk in your language. You can type the same question. For example, I would say this way: um, give a, a count of give a count of um, app one cuisine. Give a count of app one cuisine by country in area chart. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just typing it like the way I'm talking it to a person next to me. How am I talking to him? I'm just mentioning the same thing. Give a count of app cuisines won by country in area chat. Okay. So once you enter a question which is there in your kind of a daily language and then give a submit to that. Okay. It will give you the result very instantly to see either your question is validated and then you're able to get an answer to that. Now, if it is giving an answer, which means on the Q&A visual, if any one of your friend is trying to give a similar kind of a question, it is going to give you the same sort of value. Okay, that is what the teach your question and answer will help you out. And review question. In general, what is this review question will help you out? Again, coming back to that chatbot story. Like I said, I'm not sure like how many of you are really aware of this AI chatbots which are coming up right now recently, and how you understand like it is getting improvised on a daily day-to-day basis. So in general, any chatbot which is being introduced, okay. So let's say recently there is a new chatbot which is created for a IRCTC website, for instance. And just as an example, it has been introduced long back, but again, they have introduced one ask the full cake chatbot को release किया. So what they do is they have released with by loading set of questions that can be answered by the chatbot, and they have released it. And eventually, when it has been released, what will happen on the back end of it? Daily, there could be a lot of people who would be logging into this website, and then they might be using this chatbot for for any transaction related queries or train journey queries or anything, right? So whatever the questions which are being posed by the user and the answers which are being given by the GIA, all these are being actually captured on the back end. Okay. So this will help the chatbot developers to understand that on a daily basis, how many questions this chatbot is able to handle, how many questions are being successfully given an answer, how many of the bots were able to not give an answer, like how many of them failed. If they failed, what could be the reason? Is it the problem with the chatbot, or is it the problem with the question which are posed by the users actually? If the user is not able to pose a question very rightly to the chatbot will definitely fail to give an answer. So, for example, if you are talking like, if you go back to the IRCT website and then keeping the chat window, I mean, going to the AI chat window, and you can't ask the question like, who is the Prime Minister of India, right? Because it is irrelevant to it. So those kind of questions are also being captured. But if they think the question that you have put into the chatbot is a valid one which is related to the railways, but it failed to give an answer, they take up this as a feedback and they try to improvise the next time whenever you give a question, they will ensure that your chatbot is able to give an answer to the question what you are imposing. And that is what exactly the review questions will be. Now, in order to make sure the review questions are being captured in Power BI, in this case, is it necessary that it has to be in, will this option work in Power BI desktop? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. It will not work out. Because think the desktop application is a standalone application in your laptop or your workstation. So whatever the data you are preparing and then using this question and answer, if you are keeping it in a standalone application, it doesn't work out. You will have to publish this question. Okay. You will have to use this question. So in order to ensure that you'll have to this is working, it should be deployed onto the Power BI online SaaS application. Once you deploy it back, so different users logging into your report and then using this question and answer visual, the questions can be automatically being captured back onto your report, and that is where you can review all your questions and then make sure you can teach back the bot how to give an answer. That is how this will work out. Okay, so that's about the review questions part. Suggest questions is again, you can try suggesting it at different kinds of questions, and so that, I mean, basically, if you talk about the I mean, suggesting question, when you click on this question and answer icon, you saw front end, there are few questions which are coming up, right? So if you want to change those questions or reorder those questions or give any question, This is a place where you can actually add those questions and then that will come up. Like I said, if I want to give a question like give a count of um, append one append one mm, country by average USD value in pie chart or let's say in donut. So this is a question that I wanted to have. Okay, you can see the result how it works in, and so I will add this as my question, and I'll click on the save. So now what will happen? This is the answer. Now when I close this window and come back, okay, when I click on this window and come back, now I mean this is getting a refresh, and when I click on this question and answer back, you will see this is the suggested question I have, which is coming up. So when do you use this kind of a suggest question is it could be in a way that you might think before you deploy your report, you can think of certain questions like this, like what are the different kinds of questions people might usually come across. Let's say if it is your manager, you can think like your manager and then you can put some suggested question so that he can come back and toggle onto the suggest question that will give you an instant value like this. Can give you an instant value. Okay. So this is one of the beautiful um, visuals which is offered by the Power BI that you can actually look at different kinds of um, views of your data and which is less burden on you and more on the Power BI chat report and also be helpful for the user so that they will not be able to come back and ask you to reiterate or do a lot of things. Rather, they can rely on this kind of a question and answer visual. So this is how the question and answer visual will be more and more helpful. Okay. Try playing around with this for few minutes, and then let me know if you are able to, if you are successful. myself done or played around with this. So with this, what I would say, all these visuals, whatever we are here, I know the scatter set is not being covered, or R and Python, and remaining all these are like um, not. I mean, let's say card new and then slicer new. These are kind of new visuals which are related to the same visuals what you already have learned. Okay, so uh, these visuals are again little bit more and more elevated and updated. So the R and Python, it needs a kind of a scripting language which can't be covered onto this area. And scatterset will try to give you a kind of a note for that where you can see a better example with the scatterset. With this, all the visuals are covered part. Now, what I will show you apart from the visual part is on the cosmetic side of the reporting, how you can able to play around with it. So now it's the time to understand why we have created this kind of visuals over here, why these visuals are created over here, to make sure how these are being actually helpful. If I look at the entire portion of this report, okay, when I come back to this area where there is a previous page and a next page question mark, when I right click here in this case, when I right click here at this portion, you can see the list of all the pages which we have created so far. So now you could see in all these three sessions, we have created a lot of visuals. Okay. I mean, a lot of pages as well. So when I go back to the home page, when I go back to the home page, initially people will not be able to understand. Initially people will not be able to understand like they need to right click and then they can toggle to any of the sheets they like. But this is not the way that we usually expect a user to do. Correct. We expect some sort of a kind of automatic way. So the visuals that we have created so far, if I create a kind of a link or an index page, something here in the front page of the report, this will be very helpful. So that click on that particular page, it can directly take you to that custom page what you are looking out for. So how quickly and possibly that we can do this kind of method. So I'll show you that. I'm coming back to the home page. In the home page, since there is no other visual over here, what I will do is I'll quickly go back to the insert tab. Okay, I'll go back to the insert tab. Under the insert tab, under the elements group. Okay, once again I repeat, insert tab, elements group. You will see there are different options over here. Now within that, there is a drop down for button. When I click on the drop down of the button and straightly go back to the last one, there is an option called navigator. And in the navigator, you have page navigator and bookmark navigator. So when I click on the page navigator, this will give me the list of all the pages that are being actually created in this particular report. Okay, these are all the different kinds of pages which are automatically created within this report. Now that I'm going to place or play around with this particular option, whatever we have created. Okay. Hmm. Now it's up to you how you can create this, and you have a better ways of creating this. For instance, see, the moment once I click on the insert tab elements group under the button drop down, click on the navigator and then click on the page navigator. This is instantly giving me all the page names. Now when I click on this, you will see the format or the visuals which is appearing over here. So when I click on the visual part of it, now here you will see the style, shape, rotations, etc. When I go back to the shape, it will tell me what kind of shape you are looking out for. So the shapes are these. When I change this to any other shape, like let's say arrow, okay, or chevron arrow, or pentagon arrow, right, etc. Whatever be the way that I'm looking out here, so this will show up a different kinds of shape over here for me. Okay. And rotation, if you want to have a kind of a rotation, like you want to rotate it, you can rotate it. Or let's say you want to keep a style. Styles are like default. This is the default style. And if you want to hover, press or select it. So hover ka matlab hai when you hover it, it will go to that page. When you click on the press, it will go to that page. Selection, on the selection side, it will go to that page. Okay. And then rest of the things are like more good, like fill, border, shade, glow, etc. Grid layout. When I talk about the grid layout, this is the grid layout. It can be a grid, or it can be a horizontal, or it can be a vertical. The vertical, this is how the vertical looks like. Mhm. So you can keep a vertical page like this, and then yes, you can change the name of this. And for a while, if you want to have a kind of a different style for this, you can create a style. Okay, everything in a horizontal and vertical alignment. And from here on, like you can just do a kind of modifications, like what kind of modification you want to do it, you can just do it here. Now, what will happen? Like, how does it work? Like I told you long back, um, in Power BI desktop version, when you want to do such kind of things and then you want to test it over here, the better way that you can test is by click on using the control button and then click on that, it will walk you to that page. You see, when I click on this will walk me to the page. Now, when I go back, if I want to go back to the home page, now I click on the control button and click on this particular first icon. This will take me to the first page. Similarly, if I go back to any other chat, this can be a direct way that I can go. And this is what exactly the reason why we have already created a visuals earlier by click on the links and then keep it. And that will become easy for us to toggle between this home page to the other pages. Okay. So now give it try and then try to map this visuals and then keep it ready and then see if we are able to do this. Move on to the next one. One, what I have shown you right now is a kind of a basic expectation of any of the report that we create by creating one index column. Now, the second part, okay, very usually what we always keep thinking about is the security. So when we talk about the security, what does that I mean in the security part? It's not like opening the file, it requires the password, closing the file, it requires the password. That is not what I'm looking out for. Okay. A security measure here in Power BI is quietly little different. Okay. Hmm. More importantly, I'll be talking about the first part. So for a while, I'm going back onto the map visual. In the map visual, if you look at this, we have values which are shown up for Africa, Asia, Europe, NAM, Oceania, and SAM. Okay. But um, if there is a situation like this that you are preparing, um, I mean, it is pretty difficult. Let's say, for example, there are three different teams, and one team is specifically looking for Asia, another team is looking for a combination of Asia and Europe, and Oceania is another team. Let's say NAM SAM, it is taken care by another team, right? Now you can't create your report or let's say according to each one of the region. It is difficult, right? Sorry for the word. So it is difficult. Instead of doing that, you can create a global report and then you can try to slice and dice the report according to each one of the person. What does that mean? Like how it actually works if I try to do this method? What is the actual way? So now what I will do is the layer and structure of the report I have created for the entire region, I'll keep the global way as it is. But what I'll do is I'll try to break this report into three different regions. Okay. Like Asia will be given for one, Africa, Europe, Oceania will be given one, NAM and SAM will be given one. Okay. So how do I break this report and then how do we assign access? So what I am going to teach you right now will be right from the scratch, which is a basic portion that you guys have to look at. And later, there is another step which is also involved, which cannot be shown up here. But then I'll give you a kind of high level methodology to let you know. So first thing, what we will have to do is let's go step by step procedure. Hmm. I'll again go back to the view part on the top. Okay. I'll go to the view. Sorry. I'll go to the modeling on the top. I'll go to the modeling tab on the top. That's the first thing I'll do. A modeling tab on the top. In the modeling tab, under the security group, modeling tab, security group, there is an option here called manage role view as. Okay. There's an option called manage roles and view as. Now what I'm going to do is to select the manage role. Okay. Modeling tab, security group, manage role. When I click on the manage security role, you will see there is a new pop-up window open like this, and you will have to create the first role. So I will say click on the new role, and then I will rename this to let's say Asia. I'll rename this to Asia. Asia is one role that I'm creating. And against the Asia, first thing I will see which tables you are going to impact. So I'm going to create an impact on the append one table. Okay? I'm going to create an impact on the append one table. Now I'm selecting the append one table and then I'm going to filter the data. When I have to filter the data, I'll click on the new portion. And what I will say, show the data if all the rules are true. So here, what I would say is in the append one table, where the portion we have called country, or let's say region, not country. Region is equal to Asia. I'm selecting the region should be equal to Asia. And then now click on save. Now this is one portion I have applied. Second role that I'm going to create will be, as I told you, I'm going to create this for Africa, Europe, Oceania. So since it is taking a long name, I will say AEO, which is Africa, Europe, Oceania. And similarly, again, I'm selecting the append one table and then I'm going to filter the data. So give a portion here where it says region should be equal to Africa. And then I'm going to create one more rule. Okay, I'm going to create one more rule. But then let me first create this rule. The region should be Europe. And then again, region should be equal to Oceania. Yes, this is a case sensitive. You need to be really careful about the value that you are putting here. It's a case sensitive. Now, what the top statement says is show data if all the values are true, which means the region should be equal to Africa, region should be equal to Europe and Oceania. If you are selecting all, इसका मतलब है in that field everything should be equivalent to this value. But that is not what it will happen. It can say show data if any of these rules are true. If you are selecting this, this means region equal to Africa or region equals to Europe or region equals to Oceania. If I am selecting all, what will happen? It will say region equals Africa and region equals Europe and region equals Oceania. So selecting all matlab hai, it is you are selecting and statement. All the statements should match. Selecting any का मतलब है you are giving a condition of or. Any of these values are matching, then it will work out. Then you click on the save. And now I'm going to create the last rule, which is NAM, SAM, and then what else is left over? Oh, that's it. So I will just say N and SAM, N and S. And similarly, put the same thing here. The region should be equivalent to NAM and region should be equivalent to SAM. And save. So now I have got three different values which are created, which means I have created three different security roles. And now click on the close. At this point in time, you are not going to see any kind of changes or anything which is being happened. But is it important to understand that the security role that you have created is working properly or not? That is important to know, right? In order to ensure that the security role that you created is working good or not, what you will do, you are going to the modeling view and then you are going to the security group, and instead of manage role, this time you'll go to the option as view as. So when you click on the view as, you will see what are the roles that you have created. So there are none other user is a common thing, but you have got these three roles which you have created. If I'm selecting Asia and then click on OK, now this will only give you the information which is secured for Asia. So if I go to the home page, right? If I go back to the home page, you can still see now we are viewing as Asia. And if I go to any of the chart, let's say if I go to the waterfall chart, you will only see the data for Asia. If I go back to, let's say, Pi family, this will only give you the information pertaining to Asia. So if I go back anywhere, it will only show the data pertaining to one particular continent, which is Asia. So now when I click on stop viewing, this will stop viewed as Asia, and then it will show the remaining thing. Now when I click on the view as and then try to check for the other role, which is Africa, Europe, and Oceania, and click on OK. Now you can see the results are specifically to Africa, Europe, and Oceania. So the first thing I'm going to check is on the map visible to just see, and you can see the filters are related only for Asia, Africa, Europe, and Oceania. So this is what we call it as the security measure. So the security measure can be mentioned in a simple way. Technically, what we call it in Power BI, it is called the RLS, which is called row level security. It is called row level security. Okay. Now I'll give a pause here. Just try applying back on your screens and then see if you are able to success and then give a Let me know once you're able to do it. As I told you, like I don't see any message, I don't see any kind of voice from you guys. Not really sure if you're following me or you didn't like the sessions or is it something bothering you that you could not able to give me or interact with me? Not really sure. But if you're practicing and if you're able to understand, well and good. If you're not doing it and if you're thinking this is not a proper way, you can let us know. I mean, since I don't know anything, I'm just clueless about anything. But yeah, take your time and then just, just try applying it and then see. Let me.
So if you have done this, okay, like I said, the manager, once you create the manage roles and then you are able to check it over here. So till here, the process will be fine. But when you have to move ahead with this process again, moving forward, and when it comes to the real check, like how you can understand this real check scenario, then the first step, what you will have to do is you will first publish the report. Okay. In order to publish the report, you need to have an organization account, which means you should be working with an organization, and the organization should allow you to create a report. For this, in this case, if you are using a company owned laptop, well and fine, and then you should be having access to the Power BI online platform. If that is not happening, if you are using a personal laptop, you cannot able to publish this to your personal login, because personal logins in Power BI doesn't work. It should definitely should have an organization account. So for a demo of the purpose, I am just using one of my project areas where I'm just working on. So what I can do is I can publish the report. So in order to publish the report, you will go back to the home tab on the top. On the home tab, on the extreme last, under the share group, you have an option called the publish report. So when you click on the publish report, the first option it will ask you is, do you want to save the change? When I say yes, click on the save change, then it will start working on it and then try to publish the report. When it publish the report, it will first say, show me a destination where I can publish the report. So I would always say you will use the My Workspace. Okay, I'll always say use the My Workspace. And once I click on the select of the My Workspace, this will start publishing the report over there. Okay. Anyways, I already have created one, so I'll just click on the replace one. And once I click on the replace, this is publishing the report back onto the Power BI online service directly. It takes a minute to publish the report. So now it is successfully updated onto the Power BI online service. So if you look at that, there is a link over here which will show open the report in the Power BI. So when I click on this open on the Power BI report, this will ask me. Anyways, I have to log into the Power BI online service. Okay. So what I will do is I will just simply close this up, and then I'll try to open the same thing in Power BI and Google report. Let me see if I can able to see this in the Google. Let me see if I can able to do this one more time. All right. So I think I'm successfully inside the application. So let's see if I can able to see the report what I just have published. So this is my report which I just published onto the Power BI. So here, as I told you, like on the Power BI desktop application, rather than that, you don't need to hold the control button here and then do anything. You can directly click on the visual. When I click on the visual here, this will walk me to the page directly. And again, when I click on this guy over here, this will walk me to this. So this will give me a hassle free of doing the or toggling between the report what I did earlier. Of course, yes, you will see everything over here. That's a different part, but there is a reason why we are creating the index and then would love to see how it works in here. Okay. So yes, this is where we are able to publish the report. But on this particular Power BI platform, what you need to look at is on the left-hand side, there is an option here called My Workspace. When I click on the My Workspace, the place where I have just published the report for now today, let's say I have created the report around 9/1/2024. This is the one. I created the report now. Okay. So basically what will happen, the report will be published in two different scenarios, or let's say two different types. One is as a report, which when I click on this, it will walk me to the report what you just witnessed. There is another part called the semantic model. There is one called the report, there is another called the semantic model. Both are the different types of the reports which are being created. Now, as I told you, when you have created the security role, what is the next step that you will have to do? After you publish the report, you will have to come back to the semantic model over here and you will see three dots over here. Okay, three dots. So when you click on the three dots, it will show you a lot of options. Within that, there is an option called the security. So when you click on the security, here you will witness the three row level securities what you already have created on your Power BI desktop. On your Power BI desktop, whatever you already have created, it will show up here. And now it's your responsibility to type in the people's name or a group name over here and then click on add and then save. The moment once you do that, okay, this will add the people. Remember this point. In the semantic model, when you are creating this methodology, you are going to create or send a name or let's send the email address here and then click on add and then you will click on the save. Now, based on that, what will happen? The uh, for this particular AEO view, it will add those particular people or a DL. Even if you add the DL or even if you add the list of mail addresses, it is up to you. It is going to add. After you do that, those people are allowed to view only the report with AEO data. And if you're adding them in NNS, they will only see NAM and SAM. If you're adding them in Asia, they will only see Asia. After you do that, is your work is still completed? Not yet. Again, you will have to come back here and then you will go to the day two portion and then click on this. And here you will see manage permission. Once after you click on the manage permission, okay, you will have to send this. You will have to send this portion or the share this report with the certain people to whom you have given access to. Then they will receive an email with a link. Click on that link, directly it will take to this workspace where you have deployed the report. And the moment once they click on the report, based upon the view that you have given to them, either it is Asia or AEO or NNS, they will be able to see the report pertaining to that particular view alone. So with that, the entire row level security will be entirely working. So I would definitely expect that you guys might not be able to do it because you may or may not have the organization account. If you are having organization account, well and good that you can able to do a quick try. If you are not having it, you will have to do it on your organization's laptop. And basically that is where you can able to check this task and then be able to do do it in a better way. Okay. This is the entire portion of what we are looking onto the Power BI service. Anyways, I mean, since I'm not sure like who have the accounts and who doesn't have the account, but then yes, I will keep it like for now, just keep it aside. Take around 5 minutes. Just try if you are already having the organization account, try it and then see. I know you will not have people right now around to look at that, but just at least you are able to save it, publish it, and then take up to this portion well and good. So just take a look and then let me know. So then the next portion, what I will show you is while you're on the Power BI online platform. Okay. So once you have deployed this, usually what will happen is you can share the report directly to the people and probably by click on the share or chat in Teams, etc. Now, apart from this, what else you already have is there is an option called the export button. Okay. So when you click on the export, you will see you can click on analyze in Excel. But when you click on the analyze in Excel, do not expect that your entire report is going to get up into an Excel portion. Okay. It is only going to supply the database, which is a semantic model database within the Excel. You can create pivot tables out of it. But apart from that, what else you have is on the PowerPoint. So when I click on the PowerPoint, you have two options. One is called embed live data, export as image. I'll show you the embed live data. So when I click on the export PowerPoint and then it is showing up embed live data, do not change any of the settings. So just simply click on the open in PowerPoint. Okay. So when I'm opening this on the PowerPoint, let me show you how it will work out. Okay. So let us give a bit of time for us to just get used to that. Uh, Let me see if it allows my account. Okay, I can't use this. Let me use this account and then see will this work out. Now, this is what exactly will happen when you click open this Power BI in a report like this. Okay. This is in the PowerPoint presentation. Now your report is directly taking a live data from the PowerPoint, Power BI online service. It is taking a direct link towards your PowerPoint presentation. So what does this mean in this case? Now, when I click on this map visual over here in this will take across into the PowerPoint presentation. Like you can create and you can slice your data like this. You can slice your data, you can see the data, and you can play around with the data like how exactly you're doing on the Power BI. Now, again, to come back or go back to the main portion, you will click on this guy, and again, this will take you to the next visuals, whatever the visuals you have. So this is a direct PowerPoint link presentation. So which means this you will need to have your organization account to be signed in so that is where it is going to give you the link towards to the Power BI online service and then your presentation can be shown up. So which means when you take this up to your presentation, if you don't want to show anything on the Power BI online, you can directly connect through the PowerPoint presentation and you can also show your data like this. So this is the advantage of exporting this onto the PowerPoint presentation and then do it. Maybe I'll give you again few more minutes. Just try to play around with this. If you have the option, you can try and then take a look at this. Okay. So this is what we have learned on the Power BI online service. Again, I'll switch back to the Power BI application, desktop application. Okay. I'll show you. I'll show you one more thing on the Power BI desktop application. So you have learned on the page navigator. Apart from the page navigator, there is one more portion, like there is one more portion, what we call it as bookmark navigator. So let me give you a glimpse of what exactly is a bookmark navigator is about. And then probably you can understand more in terms of like what exactly this navigator will work like. How does it work like? Okay. So in this particular visual page, okay, the entire visual page, you have got a lot of visuals over here, like four card visuals, one map visual, and then there are two uh, images, and then there is one slicer. Okay, so like in PowerPoint, if not, I mean, I'm not sure, like in PowerPoint, if you have come across this case, but likewise in PowerPoint, where you can control your slide to show certain features and certain visuals not. In this case, you can actually show the person who is looking at this page, you can customize your view in this page. You can customize the view in the page. Like when I say customize your page, how you can able to control the images or the visuals that you are seeing here. Okay. So there is a method where you can control them. So what does this control method looks like, and then how does it work out? When I go to the top, on the top portion, when I go to the top portion, which is there on the view tab, under the view tab, under the show panes group, there are two portions which is called the bookmark and then the selection. Okay, there are two portions under the view tab manage show panes group, bookmarks and the selection. Okay, now I'm going to click on the selection and I'm also going to click on the bookmark. Okay. Usually what will happen in this case, you don't need to have anything on the visualizations on the data set. So you can minimize them. But whenever you are working on this kind of method, you will have to remember very carefully, bookmarks and selections should be automatically be, I mean, you will have to use both the sections at one go. Otherwise around, this is not going to work out. So the first thing how you will see, there are three different kinds of bookmark positions that you can use it, which means you can show this entire page. So if there is any no changes that you want to bring to this page, then what you can do is you will come back to this portion here on the bookmarks and then click on just add, click on add. So you can rename this as full view. You can rename this as full view and then press enter. The second way, the image is nothing but this is one of the image and this is one of the image. So when you look at this, when I click on the image, this is what it is getting selected. When I click on this image, this is what is getting selected. This is the slicer, it is selected. Average rating, this is the average rating portion. Now, for a reason, what I wanted to do is I will switch off the average rating. I will switch off the average cost in the USD and I will leave only these two portions, which is restaurant and the cuisine. And once I do this portion selection, I will now go back to the bookmark and then click on add. Now I am going to rename this as view 1 and hit enter. Okay. The second part, what I'll do is I'm going to again show these two visuals now, and I will switch up these two first visuals, total cuisines and restaurant, and now I'll click on add. This will create another view, and then I'll give as view 2. And now I'm going to create one more view by choosing the total cuisines and average cost in USD. And then I'll take this as another view. So I will add a view and then I'll say view 3. So now I have got 4 different views. How does the 4 different views look like? There is an option here on the next to the bookmarks where you can see view. When I click on the view, it will show me when there is a full view. This is what the full view looks like. And there is a view 1, this is a view 2, and this is view 3. And now you can just skip out of this by click on exit. So these are different bookmarks that you have created. At any given point in time, if I want to change or modify the view 3 or view 2 or view 1, then I first thing what I need to do is I'll select this view here and then I'll do the modifications, whatever the modification I can. Okay. Let's say I want to switch off the slicer. I'll switch off the slicer and I will come back to the view 2 and then I'll click on update so that only the view 2 is updated. Now, when I click on the view 3, this is how view 3 looks like. View 1, full view, and then view 2 without the slicer. Now, this is what we call it as a bookmark. And you can come back to this front page. You can come back to the front page and then click on the insert and then go back to the under the elements group, click on the button, and then you can use a bookmark navigator as well. You can use a bookmark navigator as well, like this. Okay. And now if you want, you can just bring a format painter using the format painter. You are updating this as well so that I will change the layout of this. I'll say horizontal and then I'll keep this portions, everything aside. And so now you will have, so on the home page, you will have the full view, view 2, and then view 3. Okay. So I'm just using the full view here so that this will take me to that page. So I'll click on the home page. Okay. Now, just in case you can build different views like this in order to see your bookmark navigator, you can do the same thing. So for each page, you can create a different kinds of views and then you can show. And you can only allow like what is viewable by the um, certain person. Based upon that, this will views can also be controlled. And once you do this, you can save the report as it is. And then again, you can republish the report. And once you click on the publish on the report on the same place, it will ask you to replace it. Once you replace your main report, this will also get automatically refreshed in 2 minutes. So now this is updated. Now, when I go back to this place and then just click on the refresh, this will automatically create this new views and bookmark navigation as well, like this. Okay. So give it a try if you are able to see the bookmark, you are able to do the bookmarks. So if you have done this, I think most of the points we have discussed in terms of everything, but extra additional points that needs to be updated, or let's say just to give you a kind of a refresh or say anything, you will see under the visualization build visual at the last, there are three dots. When you click on this, you will see an option called get more visuals. Okay. So in order to get more visuals, you will have to log into your official account, again, the organization account. When you log into the organization account, this will allow you to look at different kinds of visualizations which are being updated or which have been pushed into the Power BI library. Okay. And you'll get to have access to all these kinds of visuals only if you're using an organization account. And within that, you will see different kinds of visuals that can be bring in, and then you can show different methodologies. Okay. For example, let's say this is something a kind of a Sankey chart. Okay. So the Sankey chart will give you a different kind of a visual that it can be given in like this. This is what the visual looks like. You can have a report like this where you can see how it this can be updated. And if you want, you can download a sample or you can just click on add. So when you click on the add, this will come back and get added to your account. And now with this, you can create a new visual. Let's say, for example, when I go to when I create a waterfall chart, or let's say when I create the ribbon chart, when I create a duplicate of this ribbon chart, so I'm selecting this chart. You can directly change this to the sneaky chart. I mean, sorry, Sankey chart. And this is how it is actually looking like. This is what it looks like. You can you might have to add a few more information about it to ensure how does it look like. Maybe as on, as on, but if I bring in, let's say, quarter, this is how it looks like. So for each one of the region, each one of the quarter, how does it is showing up? And if the region, if we are adding in terms of, let's say, um, we are bringing the M rating on the weightage part. This is giving you the weightage part of this. Source labels, let's say the source labels, if I'm adding the region. It's not giving any more information, but still, yes. It's a kind of a correlation between each one of the region and what is the rating and how is it getting connected to the quarter one. Okay. There's a kind of a different way of looking at the charts initially. So any new charts, you can actually start looking at this through a different kind of I mean, you can explore yourself in a different methodology to see how the information looks like and how is it actually showing up. Okay. Um, what I'll do is I'll stop the session over here for now because I have covered everything whatever it is required for your Power BI desktop and for you to go and create a new reporting. And I'll keep this window open to understand like you guys have any questions or anything. So anyway, since it is 12:30, we'll break for 15 minutes and then regroup. And just to see if you guys have any questions, we can discuss. Otherwise, around I'll give you the 1.5 hour back so that you can enjoy your weekend. Okay. So for now, I'll just keep a 15 minutes break. If in case you want to have any more conversations, I'll just keep this window open after the 15 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm a bit late, but I'm here nearby the system. Okay, all right. Thank you, Misbah. You said everything is clear. The sessions are good. Okay, how about you, Kashi and Sachin? You guys were having any questions? You want to ask anything? Or you guys are good? To get access to Workspace to publish my Power BI report. Also, I'll be importing data from Azure DevOps, so I need to figure that out. I connect with you if any doubts. Sure, Ms. Ba, no problem at all. Absolutely. I'm here available, so you can just ping me up, talk to me anytime. So the data set support by Power BI desktop. Up to 2 GB, up to 2 GB of the data that you can able to import into the Power BI desktop to make sure that it is working absolutely normal. Beyond that, you can add it, but it will make sure, it will affect the performance of the Power BI little bit. But yes, you can add up to 4 GB of data as well. But 2 GB is something permissible and within the permissible limit. That's what I say, without slowing up the Power BI. Any specific tech to improve performance of charts and reports if data is large? No. See, basically what you need to understand on the Power BI desktop version, when you are connecting to any other ERP system, right? So if you, there are two options. When you're trying to connect, you will see, apart from the login ID and password, you will, after you log in and password, you will see two options. One is direct import, or another thing is like direct query. So importing will, what will do is it will import the database from one system to your Power BI desktop system. Okay. And when you're importing the data, it will normally work. It should not have any issues at all. But then if you're using a direct query, it is not going to import anything. Whatever be the amount of the data, it is not going to import anything, but it will directly connect to your query database. And from there, you can also build the visuals. So which will also improve your performance. Apart from that, there is no other way that you can think over. So basically nothing to worry about that. It should normally work for even for a larger data set. I'm not sure like how much large data, how large is your data, but in terms of quantity, I'm saying 2 GB ka matlab it's not going to be a smaller thing. It's a very, very huge I'm talking about. In millions and millions of rows of data I'm talking about. 2 GB. All right. Not sure. I haven't heard anything from Kasi. I know he's out of he's traveling or somewhere. But yep, this is all about it. And then you will get the recording very soon. And in case you guys have any questions, do let us know. I'm away, I'm just a step away from the email. So you can just ping me up or email me so that we can connect with you and then clear your questions. Okay. All right. Then have a great day and then have a great weekend as well. Thank you so much for participating in the session. I hope you guys really enjoyed and then you're contentful now enough to create any report. Sure, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll share the file with the final file. I'll share. Yeah, yeah. I'll share the final file and along with the recording and the other set of things. I'll do that. Great. Thank you so much, Sachin. Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Kashi. I'll close the window for now, and I will ensure that we'll send you all the details for that. Okay. Thank you once again. Happy weekend, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.